Hi guys, I'm Alex Chen, and welcome to my culture-specific presentation. I'm super glad to present my culture, China. And so when talking about Western China, we see lots of difference between Western and China. And when we say party, the party in Western is just say the different bunch of group and people talking with each other. But we say party in China, we actually make a super big group and we're talking literally each other in the everyone in the group. So when we say networking in the US, maybe Western, we networking directly to the people, right? They have a super neat network, but the relationships of networking in China is super complicated. Maybe you want to networking or know the people. You have to know the people around that person. And the third one is expressing opinion. So maybe in Western, in US, when you say something, say what you want to say, do what you want to do, right? But in China, we use a super dynamic way, indirect way. When you want to say one A, maybe you have to say A and B and C and D, and people got the A. And when we say self-expression, the right about corner, uh, in US blue, maybe people think a little bit but express a lot, right? And in China, maybe we thought a lot and we just speak a small part of our thoughts. So why is super different? Blue is the US, maybe or the Western, and red is China. Why their behaviors are super different? So we want to explore the value under the iceberg, under the behavior, and we see I think the main factor is our density and our people population between U.S. and China. We see U.S. and China share the same land area. They have the 9 million square kilometers, but for population, U.S. just only have 300 million population. This is the third in the world. But in China, we are first in the world. We have the 1.3 billion. That means we have the 1,300 million people in China. So for density, US have the 33 people per square kilometers, but we have 145 people per square kilometers. So that's saying the one people living in a house in US, but we have 5 people living in a house in China. So that's why it's a result of to lead our value. Our core value is a harmony, because every house just one people in US, but 5 Chinese in China. So we're talking more about the harmony in the small group. So we use a he, it's a Chinese character to express our value, is a harmony. So we have this, I think, main four characteristics, and I can use this core value, harmony, to express the different behavior belong to the four categories. So after that, you can know why value can expand our behavior. So first one is we try to be modest or reserved to people, because we want to keep the harmony in our group. So in China, when you are angry, we keep the smile, right? In the right, even though we are super angry, we keep the smile, because we want to express the harmony in the group. We want to thank the people. So we didn't say everything. Maybe you ask how are you? Maybe in China you got I'm good, even though they're super bad, because we want to let you know we are super bad. We don't want to disturb your opinion, your mood. So for self-expression, why we think a lot, but just a little bit, a small part, because we want to give more space to others to express their opinion. We don't want to be like the ego in the group, just to keep the harmony. So the third one is talking about money. There's an old saying in China. It's like the way talking money is hurting our relationships. So when we want to talk money, maybe we're talking about relationships, and maybe give the hint we want to borrow the money, right? So we just keep the harmony in the group. And the fourth one is arguing and giving opinion. So that's why when you say you want to argue with people, argue with the people in China, we didn't like the US. We just say directly, say you are wrong. Let me say this is one. We tried this was one. But in China, we maybe say you are right. You are super right. Your A is right, B is right, C is right. But maybe the D is a little bit wrong. So can you see maybe revise the D a little bit? So that's why we want to trying to say, you are wrong. So that's why our opinion is super, curve and like the left, third right are super complicated. So the second characteristic is for China or for Chinese, we always look at our role in a group, not say your role as yourself. So we always treat yourself in a group. So that's why in China we save our image, self-image is super small compared to US, right? Because the group is big, but you are just a small part of the group. Because we want to keep the group harmony. And the second one is the networking. So that's why it's super complicated in network in China, because we have to balance every relationship between each others. For example, maybe you pay more attention for your mother this time, maybe Saturday, but maybe you have to pay more attention to your dad on Sunday, because maybe you always pay more attention to your mother, your dad may be unhappy. So for China, we always preserve this one and always want to look at this one. So we balance the relationships, we balance, we treat the people, but always we are looking at the people around that person. So and the third one, that's why we deal with the problem so in a indirect way. I think that's a misleading for Western or US. Like say, Chinese are super inefficient to deal with a problem, because US super direct, but for China we are super indirect. I think for our value, we deal with a problem, but actually we deal with the people, right? We deal with the problems from the people. So we deal with the people behind the problems. So that's why we treat the harmony as our first thing. That's why we don't want to deal with the problem, but actually hurt the relationships. We want to keep the relationships and deal with the problem. So that's why we always use the indirect way to deal with the problems. So the third one is a family is always a bone in a society. So family, we highly value family culture in China. So that's why you see the child is surrounded by the four people in the every Chinese family. Like they surrounded by their parents and older parents. Because family is a main structure in China. So that's why we can see the second picture. The people are older, is more have more status in China. Because we want to keep the harmony for a family, and we highly value the senior, because maybe we see they are older, they have more experience, they can support the family, they can take responsibility to give more instruction to our family. So that's why we treat the older a lot in family. So I think that's a behavior can explain why boss or leader status is super high in China, because we treat a group or the company as a family. And the boss or leader is a senior. It's your grandmother or grandparents or grandpa in this group. So that's why we treat the same value with the boss and the older people. So that's why the boss is more bigger image in this picture. And the fourth one is our color is right, but actually we lower bustle, because I think we treat the bustle as a signal for harmony. We look at the right party, so look at the party, we surround a circle, because we don't want to say who is the first one, who is the second one. we just surround by a circle and you know everyone in the group. And we're talking a lot in the eating because we see the bustle is a signal for harmony. We're talking a lot, right? We are building super good relationships. And after that, everyone is super happy for the relationship in the group. So the second picture is we are super noisy in restaurant. Maybe we treat that noisy is super implied in US, but it's just a super normal in China because we see the bustle or noisy is a harmony. Everyone is talking their business. Everyone is talking their stuff, their story in the restaurant. We just love it. We love to see the people are talking, share something with each others. That's why the bustle is a signal for harmony. And there are super useful tips when you want to work in China and build a relationship with Chinese. The first one is how do you emerge in the group. I think maybe it's super difficult for a foreigner to emerge a Chinese group because we treat a group a lot. We treat a group, a family, a group as a co-value, right? We want to keep the harmony as a group. When the stranger into this group is a new group, so we have to build another harmony in that group. So the most efficient way is to find someone in that group to lead you or introduce you to that group. So that's why you can. That's the reason you can build some connection or build a relationship directly with this group, and you now maybe belong to this group. And second one is how do you deal with conflict? Maybe in US, we highly value the discussion style, right? Even though I'm a discussion style maybe now, but never mind. So discussion style is super highly valued. In US, they are super direct and efficient, but maybe in China, it's most inefficient way because you use a discussion style, you use a direct way, and you hurt the relationship between the people. So in China, we try to just don't comfort people directly in China. We always use a dynamic conflict style. So when we want to deal with the people or the problem, maybe we involve lots of people in the situation. Just even you want to deal with a problem and one person, maybe you involve lots of middle person to help you to deal with the situation. So that's why we see our networking or our relationship is super complicated. It's because we are use a dynamic conflict style. And third one is we're talking about business. I think it's super interesting because I think in US we are talking about lots of business in the coffee or in the room, like super quiet room. But in China, the lots of business contracts is signed or the talked by the dinner with alcohol. Because I think in China we're talking about business, but actually we're talking about the people who run the business. If I trust the people, if we trust the person who run the business, we just trust the business. So that's why we highly value the harmony. We highly value harmony in the group. We highly value relationships between people. So if I trust you, if I make a dinner with you with alcohol, we can say we're closer than you and we trust you more. Maybe alcohol build more trust because you're dizzy. You just say that people is much closer than you, right? So the most efficient way to talking about business in China is eat a dinner with your partner and drink alcohol and talking about business. And you guys trust each other and you can sign a business contract. So that's super interesting, but just super common and regular in China. So I hope this video and these tips can help you work well with Chinese and maybe work in business with Chinese person. And if you super interested with China and Asian culture, please come to me and we can talk about more. And thank you for listening. See you next week.